All right. So next is me, and I am going to talk about overcoming adversity. So as I am getting situated here, I wanted to share with you a quick little story about overcoming adversity. And for those of you that were on our call last night, I actually I did this training last night, but I had lots of people that had reached out to me and asked me to cover it again tonight about overcoming adversity, because it's really important to recognize that. Like I said at the beginning of the call, sometimes we have a big buildup for a month like this, and you go through the first month and you're like, oh, it didn't quite go like I was hoping, right? And so that's why we wanted to talk about this tonight, so that there's still hope, and that there's still lots of opportunities for you to be able to do what it is you set out to do. And so before I get started, I wanted to share with you a quick story, a personal story about overcoming adversity, and it has to do with my daughter. And so many of you who are friends with me on Facebook saw that my daughter qualified for her districts in tennis, right? And this is something that she has been working very diligently on over the years. And so on Tuesday, she had her sectionals, and she had to play 3 different matches. Okay. And so going into the first match, she's feeling pretty confident. She went out there and she did a great job. And going into her second match, again, she's feeling pretty confident, and she went out. And for those of you that are not aware of like the scoring of tennis or anything like that, you have to win 2 of 3 sets, all right, in order to win a match for women. And at that level, because for the matter of like speed, they kind of want to get through things quickly. What they do is if one person wins a set and another person wins a set, they do a tiebreaker instead of doing a third set for speed, right? So that they don't take too long on the court. So Ella goes out there. She's feeling really confident. We'd watched this girl play a couple times. And I kind of knew, like, watching this girl play and watching Ella play all the years, I knew that Ella probably stood a really good chance of winning this match. And she went out there and she lost the first set 6-0. And we were like, what? Like, what just happened there, right? And so she lost the first set 6-0. So she comes off the court and she's talking to her coach, and her coach goes up and speaks with her, gets her pumps up. She goes back out on the court, right? So she goes back out on the court, and her coach comes over and he says, wow, I've never said that to a player in all of my years of coaching, right? And he's coached for many, many years. And we said, well, what did you say? And he said, I said, wow, that sucked. Let's erase it and move forward. And I was just like, and Eric and I both just absolutely laughed at his coaching, right? So Ella went out there in the next one and she won the next set 6-1, right? And so, and then she went on to the tiebreaker and she won that 10-3, right? So when she came off the court, she was ecstatic. She was so excited. And we're walking away and she's so unbelievably excited about what just went down. And finally, once she kind of settled down, she was just like, she's like, Coach Allen came out there and he told me, you know what, that sucked. And she goes, that's exactly what I needed to hear. I knew it sucked. I didn't need anybody to sugarcoat it for me. I needed somebody to just be there with me in that moment and say, that totally sucked. And let's move forward. And she's like, and that's exactly what he did. And so I'm here to say, anytime you don't quite meet the expectations that you're hoping for in your business, in your life, it's okay in that moment to say, you know what, that sucked. Okay, let's move forward. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So that is literally overcoming adversity, right? That adversity sometimes is just simply going through a sucky situation and recognizing that and moving forward from that. And so there are 10 tips for overcoming adversity. And number 1 is to be prepared. That is the biggest thing you can ever do to overcome adversity, is to be prepared, so that when that adversity hits, it doesn't wash over you and you're not prepared and you feel completely overwhelmed and you don't know where to go from there, right? So the ways that you can be prepared is by training your brain to be resilient, by building inner strength. And you do that every day by the things that you take in, that you allow to saturate your brain, your mind, your being, right? and you want to develop that growth mindset, right? And you want to examine those limiting beliefs that help you, and that helps you uncover what it is exactly that's holding you back, right? And so the things that are holding you back a lot of times, the things that are holding you back is, is things that sometimes it's like, I can't recruit. I can't tell you, like over the years, I've had many super sellers, people that sell a lot of Tupperware, they do great with their parties, and they're just like, I just can't recruit. That in itself is a limiting belief. You can recruit, you can do all the things, because recruiting is the same thing as dating. So if you can date parties, you can recruit people. And so it's important to recognize what your limiting beliefs are, that you're going to, maybe sometimes your limiting beliefs are, I am not capable of blah, 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 right? You see people and they're getting this great recognition. You're like, wow, what a great leader. I can't possibly do that. Wow, what great sales. There's no way I could ever have $1,000 party. There's no way I could ever have a $500 party, right? Whatever they are, that is truly what is holding you back. And so it's important that you can develop a support system that you can fall back on. And so when the time comes to dig deep and uncover how to overcome that adversity, you're going to be prepared. All right. So number 2 is to practice positivity. All right. And you want to make sure you're catching any negative self-talk. All right. And sometimes it's like, I'm not good at recruiting. That in itself right there is negative self-talk. And I want to encourage you to say, if you catch yourself saying, I'm not good at recruiting, I'm not good at dating, I'm not good at Tupperware, whatever it is, right? I encourage you to add a ... to the end of that, right? A ... but I'm working on it, right? And so it's so important to be able to do that and replace it with empowering beliefs. And eventually you will be able to, eventually there will be no ... right? Because you're not going to have the first part of that. You're going to say, I'm really working hard on becoming a better recruiter. And the whole, I'm not good at recruiting is not even, that's not even going to come into your mind. And that is how you replace that limiting belief and that negative self-talk with empowering beliefs, is slowly but surely, just with that ... But next time you say something like that and you catch yourself saying something like that, I want you to think ... right? And so those of you that are Mamma Mia fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So number 3 is to stay disciplined. It's so important that when tough times hit, it can feel like you're completely out of control. And it is so important in those moments to stay disciplined and to stay to your daily routine, whatever that is. So those of you that get up in the morning and you take quiet time, you have your cup of coffee and you do your devotionals, stay that course. Do not let whatever tidal wave of life is coming over you to keep you from that. Those of you that practice using a planner or using whatever it is you do, stay that course. It's so unbelievably important. That discipline and that daily routine is what will see you through. You just have to have that faith. All right, so you want to make sure that you're staying focused. It truly is all about focus. When it comes to getting what you want, to having that visualization of where it is that you're going. And it's important sometimes to go up against things that make you uncomfortable, or to see somebody training on something that is not something that is your strength, so that you can recognize that's where I want to go. That is where I want to be. And you have to have that focus there and visualize where it is that you want to be in your life, in your business, and whatever it is visualize that. Visualize the perfect marriage, the perfect household, the way things work in your household, the perfect business, whatever it is. The perfect day at work, right? For those of you that have day jobs and things you do outside of Tupperware, that perfect day at work. It's important to stay focused and keep that visualization in front of you at all times as you possibly can. All right, so number 5 is find the lesson. All right, realize that life happens for you, not to you. It is key to overcoming adversity. So I remember shortly before my father passed away, I remember talking to him, and I was just kind of really down and out a little bit about like what was going on in my life and the finances and all the things, right? And I said to him, I was like, well, clearly I haven't learned the lesson that I'm supposed to learn yet, or otherwise God would have taken all this away by now. Right. And so, and unfortunately, like it even went a couple years after that, that I was just like, I remember saying it again. I was like, well, I haven't clearly learned the lesson that I'm supposed to learn in this situation because I'm still in this situation. Right. But I made sure that I was recognizing that there is a lesson there, right? I'm not a huge fan of everything happens for a reason, because sometimes that statement can um, it can rub it can rub you the wrong way. It's rubbed me the wrong way in the past, and I'm sure it's rubbed many of you when you're going through one of your toughest moments in your life, and somebody says, "Oh dear, everything happens for a reason," and I'm like, and you're in that moment, and you're like, "What is the reason behind this situation?" Because you just can't see out of it. And so I encourage you, don't worry about everything happening for a reason. After the fact, you can kind of recognize that. But when you're going through it, it's important to just kind of recognize that there is going to be a lesson that comes out of it. Even if you can't see it right now, there is a lesson that can come out of any adverse situation that you go through. All right. So number 6 is work on your skills. If you're not growing, you're dying. All right. So at any given moment, I'm reading 3 to 4 books, right? And I usually have a couple books going on Audible, right? On top of actually reading a paper book. I'm a paper book person. I like to curl up in bed with a book or curl up in a comfy chair with a book. Because that's just kind of who I am. But it is always important to realize you must be learning at all times. And so I like to have books on, like right now we have our book club. And so I'm reading this book on captivate and like captivating people and being, trying to like be charismatic and all that with people and be somebody that somebody wants to listen to and talk to, right? And spend time with. But I also have a book on the law of attraction. And then I also have a book that is more like a devotional type of a book. And I actually even have a book that is, just a romance type of a book. There's something that's mindless that I can like plug into when I need to unplug out of life, right? And so it's important to always have those outlets for yourself to be able to do that. And something that is really important as well is to recognize the things that you are taking in. So a lot of times it's funny because like you don't realize you're always taking in data, right? You're always taking stuff in. So whether it's the shows you watch or the music that you listen to, the people you surround yourself with, you're taking that stuff in. So be very, very careful about what it is that you're allowing to penetrate and be in you, because that is something that is, whether you like it or not, it's influencing you. All right. So number 7 is get inspired. All right. Fill your space with in motivational quotes, Bible verses, whatever it is that inspired you. Take a walk, take an inspiring walk and get out in nature. It helps so much to like really get you inspired. Here in my office, I have a wall here that is out of my camera view. So many people don't see it, but it is full of inspirational quotes. I have an inspirational quote right here: be a game changer, because that's what I want to be. I want to be a game changer in this business, at Champion, in life, with my kids. I want to be that for my family. And so it's important to do that. So get inspired and surround yourself with it. Listen, you don't have to go and buy all these fancy wall plaques. It's a post-it note, right? It is a note in your notebook or on your calendar, just something written down. You can even just like write on a marker on your mirror. It doesn't have to be expensive and it doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to influence and inspire you. All right, number 8 is elevate your peer group. You are who you hang out with. And in the past, that's actually gotten me into a little bit of trouble growing up, because my friends weren't always the best, right? The best, like upstanding citizens in the world, but they were my friends, right? And so, but once I started recognizing that you are who you hang out with, I recognized the fact that I want to be sure I am around people that are going to build me up. And I started paying attention to how I feel when I leave somebody's presence. And if I don't feel uplifted, if I don't feel inspired, if I don't feel just good about myself on a consistent basis, this is not somebody that I really want to spend a lot of time with. I had a friend, and I thought she was a friend. And I found myself more and more when I left her presence feeling bad about myself and feeling questioning my other relationships. And I realized it was from the conversations that I was having with this individual. So I had to slowly pull myself away from that individual just for my own heart, right? And I never condone cutting people out of your life. It's just, that's pretty extreme. And it has to, and there are extreme circumstances where you do need to cut somebody out of your life, but that's not really necessary, right? It doesn't have to be something quite so dramatic as that. It's just slowly not spending as much time with that person if they're not truly filling you up. But also, this along the same lines, I mean, you can meet with a friend and they're having a really bad day and they completely dump on you all of their emotions, right? And that's okay. That's part of being a friend. But I'm talking about over and over and over again, you find yourself not feeling good about yourself as you leave their presence. That's something to notice. But also notice the people that lift you up, that make you feel good, that make you feel like you could do anything. That one of the people in my life that is that for me is Pam Clift. And that is the reason why I am on so many of these calls. I just want to tap into that. I want to tap into that emotion and that positivity as much as I possibly can in my life. And I know when I'm feeling down, she's one of the first people that pops into my head, whether I'm having a parental struggle or a business struggle. I'm just like, I need to talk to Pam. And I'll be like, and I've literally called her and be like, I need a pep talk. I'm feeling kind of down. Like I feel like I can't do anything right. She's like, oh, well, we can't have that. And by the time I get off the phone with her, I feel like I can take on the world. Right. And so make sure you recognize those people in your life as well. So number 9 is get a coach or mentor, right? And so people that you admire can be your mentors, even if they're not somebody that's personally in your life. So even somebody like Tony Robbins, or inspirational speaker, that you, or a trainer that you just really admire, that can be a mentor in your life and influence you. And you can tap into their YouTube videos or whatever it is, right? And so make sure that you have that coach or that mentor in place in your life that you can tap into and when times get tough. And number 10 is never, ever, ever, ever give up. Because one of my favorite visuals is of it's like of a plant growing, right? And people are feeding it, right? And they're feeding it and watering it, and they're just like, and the plant's right there. It's right there. And then the people are like, oh, this isn't working. I don't know why I'm wasting my time feeding this. And it's right there. And then slowly it starts to die. Where if they just would have kept going, it would have broken through. And I think so many times that is literally what people do in this business, is they just don't give it enough time. And so I want to encourage each and every one of you to make sure that you're giving your business the time and the space that it deserves. And the big thing is like, just when you see something that is not working, don't throw in the towel. Reassess and go at it from a different angle. And that is one of the biggest things that I think that people miss out on when it comes to the business. They miss out on, kind of going at it from a different angle. All right, so those are some tips on overcoming adversity. I hope you enjoyed it.